Welcome to Leading The Averitt Way, the video series focused on leadership and support of Averitt associates while promoting the Averitt culture. Here's your host, Alice Crabtree.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this edition of Leading the Averitt Way. I'm your host, Alice Crabtree. Today, I'm joined by Jonathan Jimenez, Service Center Director from Greenville. You know, Jonathan has been with us for over 20 years and across several roles in operations, sales, leadership. He brings a great perspective on growth and development. Jonathan, thank you so much for being with me here today.
Thank you, Alice, and I appreciate the invitation.
I do want to start off with saying something first to you. I want to thank you so much for your service to this country. Tell us where you served.
Thank you very much. Actually, I started in the Army, active duty. I started right off of South Carolina. And then afterwards, I went into the National Guard and then the Reserves.
Oh, my goodness. So how many years did you have in both of those?
So I completed 11 years total in the service.
So let me ask you this. In coming to Averitt, when you made that decision to join the Averitt team 20 years ago, did you see some comparatives with the military?
So the thing that stood out to me was our uniformity. Right?
Okay.
So the discipline of everything looking like we said in the military, dress right dress.
Yes.
You know, everybody always in uniform, properly groomed. That really took me back and said, hey, this is a good transition from the military into the civilian life.
Okay. So did you see anything about Averitt before you came to Averitt that kind of jumped out at you, or did you learn it after you joined?
I learned it after I joined. I actually was brought on by a friend that was already working for Averitt for about almost 2 years, and he's the one that said, hey, I know you're coming out of the military, and they're hiring. You interested? And I was like, absolutely. You know, it's right down from the house. Let me go check it out. And so, of course, I put in the application, and I got the call, which was great, you know.
And here you are today, 20 years later. So do you feel like your military career, the time that you spent, helped you in the way that you lead today?
Absolutely. You know, it's like any other career you have. Everything that you do, you learn from every job you have, every opportunity. You learn from those experiences, and then you try to apply everything that worked. And everything that didn't work, you try to say, okay, so how can I avoid that in a future role or in a future career? So my journey through the military and moving up through the ranks helped me a lot with my leadership development that I can actually use and kind of mirror it into the way that I kind of coach forward and use that towards my leadership skills.
Excellent. Sort of like our beliefs.
Yes.
Our beliefs follow. I'm sure you all had your own code as well that you followed by. Do you feel like since joining Averitt, the 20 years, and having the different roles that you've had, so you were in sales, did you work on the dock as well?
Yes.
Okay, worked on the dock, went into sales, and then was promoted to a service center director. Do you feel that as you moved into those different roles that your leadership style maybe has changed? And if so, maybe tell me a little bit about what you feel has changed to help our other leaders.
Right. So whenever you're going through each step or through each type of job that you know, so I started as operations support, which used to be a freight clerk when I first started. So you slowly learn certain things, but you don't see the full picture. And as your career starts to develop and you start learning other things and you start seeing how the bigger picture kind of fits in, right? The puzzle, and you start saying, okay, well, this is why we do this a certain way because it affects another operation.
Yep.
So as you slowly keep going through, and, you know, I've always been a big believer of asking for more. So I always say, you know, and some joke around because they say, hey, your big thing is to always say, raise your hand, right? I believe in that. I'm a big firm believer because once you master something or you think that you're well at it, that you're good, you know, you're well-rounded, then you say, hey, what's next?
Right.
What can I learn now? And then that kind of helps you develop you and starts to get you ready for that next role. So I always tell everybody, don't think about just whatever role you're in right now. Think about the role above you. Can you step into those shoes at a time's notice? Or can you say, hey, if my leader's out, can I step into their role and kind of fill in for them? And then that kind of gets you ready for the future and how you can advance.
What exactly do you, it may be a different style than anyone else, but what is your style in identifying those folks? What are you really looking for to say, this guy, this gal maybe the next Averitt leader?
So what I particularly look for is I'll look at my associates and I'll see who's putting in the work, but we're not asking, right?
Okay.
Who's doing it and not declaring it.
Very
so
good.
Sometimes we see it and we're like, hey, things happen in the background and we don't always get, commendations for it. We don't get recognized, but you're doing it because you know it's the right thing to do. So those are the ones that you start picking out and you say, hey, let me show you how to do this. Let me show you how to do that. Give them a little bit more work and see if they're up to the challenge. And then once they start, doing that and you see them succeed, then you're like, all right, I think you're ready for the next step. What's next?
Share with me maybe an example of someone that you have, since becoming a service center director, someone that you've helped coach or mentor and to develop into a leadership role or soon to be a leadership.
So I'm actually working with a few right now and that have expressed the interest of leadership,
Okay.
right? And we've had conversations to say, this may not be the right time, but it doesn't mean the door is going to get shut,
Okay.
right? So let's look at what we need to work at, and then we start developing those skills. We start giving them a little bit more responsibility here, and give them all these little other jobs, and say, okay, how are we doing? And then we do a lot of check-in and say, okay, what can we do now? What's next?
So how do you stay connected with the associates who are on your team that are not on a day shift, that works the same hours that you do? How do you, what are your intentional ways of staying connected with them?
So what I like to do, especially during, like our driver appreciation and our thank you week, of course, we also try to do during Christmas, we try to do like our own Greenville holiday events and stuff like that. And we always try to make sure that we schedule it to where everybody's available.
Yeah.
Every time we can, when we have like a cookout or something, we make sure that we do different shifts, and all the leaders try to kind of shift around to make sure that there's always visibility. Because, of course, you want your leaders to be able to see every associate in the service center. And so same thing with the awards. I always think that it's a big thing every month when we do our driver meetings. Like, it takes 5 seconds to recognize somebody, but those 5 seconds are very powerful.
Yes.
Because people, I think, crave the recognition and say, hey, this is a great thing. This is a great place to be at when I'm being recognized for whether it's my safety or my time that I've been with Averitt. So it's always a good thing to make sure that we take those 5 to 10, 15 seconds and recognize each associate.
You're very good at doing that. So we do want to thank you for that, because you know what? I agree with you. With my team as well, I can share that. Recognizing them for going above and beyond sets a tone for them. It shows that they're valued, that they're being seen, right? That you as their leader, I see what you're doing, thanking them for their years of service. What maybe one engagement, since you've taken over as the service center director there, what maybe one engagement have you done or instituted, created for your Greenville team that you see, man, this is making a strong impact. We are truly becoming a team?
Last summer we did a family day.
Oh, wonderful!
And we kind of coincided it with our 40-40 challenge, and team up challenge, and so it was a family day, and as associates are starting to buy in and become kind of more well known, we did a picnic and all that stuff. And it was such a great turnout that by the end of the event, everybody's saying, are we going to do this for Christmas? And we did. We did it for Christmas, and we actually had double the amount of associates show up. And, and we had a representation from every single shift, which was awesome.
Yes.
And so that's something that I was very proud of, that my team and I were able to put together. And it shows that we're really coming together more and more as the time goes by.
So tell me, what one goal have you shared with your team, maybe in your driver meetings, your dock meetings?
We've been looking at kind of our LC and our Dre market. There's really big opportunity in Greenville with our Greer inland ramp, and I think that's a market that we really haven't tapped into.
Okay.
And so that's something that we've been really hyper-focused on between the sales and the operations team. That's something that we really need to go after, because I think there's a lot of untapped potential there that Greenville hasn't gotten in the past. That could make a really big difference.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. I appreciate you. I've learned a lot, and I believe that our leaders out there who are listening and watching the podcast are going to learn the same thing. Raise your hand. So I'm gonna use that. Okay, I'm gonna steal that from you. But Jonathan, thank you so much for being with me and for sharing your story about leadership and your leadership style. And I just want to let you know that we appreciate you and for all that you do for Averitt and for the Greenville team. And I look forward to seeing you again.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And leaders, thank you for all you do to help secure a bright future for Averitt. We'll see you next time.